Good afternoon, St. Mike's. I'm Kevin Collins, and I'm here with Liam Mather, who is running for the 2012-2013 Student Government President. Welcome to the show, Liam.
Thanks, Kevin. Glad to be here.
So today we are going to be able to meet with Liam and hopefully be able to learn a little bit more about him and his campaign for these elections. And basically, we're going to ask Liam 5 questions that Liam knew ahead of time, and then 1 question that Liam doesn't know, and we'll see how he'll be able to, read and react and get out his answer.
All right.
So without any ado, our first question, and we're sort of going to ask 2 questions in one here because they're kind of relate. Okay. Our first 2 questions are, what is the platform on which you are basing your campaign? And the second part of that is, what are your goals for student government next year if you were to win the presidential election?
Well, Kevin, there's 2 main things that I'd like to change next year if I'm elected as student government president. The first is better communication between the students and the student government. And the second is increased school spirit. So with regards to the first main point of my platform, I'd like to see the students have more of a voice within the student government. The pattern with previous student governments is that, the students aren't completely aware of what goes on. And the student government does phenomenal work for the school. So what I'd like to see change next year is the students have more of a say in what the student government does and also have a greater understanding of the work that goes on within those meetings. Take, for example, the Spread the Net Challenge, the pep rallies, the dances, all of these things that the student government organizes. I think that this would only be enhanced if the students have a greater say. Now, as one of the executive producers of the Daily Blue next year, this is something that I will seek to accomplish as student government president if I am elected. I'd like to see a weekly or bi-weekly segment on the Daily Blue in which myself or another student government member informs the student body what the student government is currently planning. Now, the other half of this is that the students will have the opportunity to give their 2 cents on what is being done. I plan on accomplishing this by either setting up some form of a website or a more interactive Facebook page or even a suggestions box in which students can drop their suggestions on how they think this should be run. So for example, if we're running a charitable initiative, they can say, what if you tries to fundraise some more money this way? Or if we were doing a dance, what if you, incorporated this or add this theme for the dance? And if I'm president, I can't make very many promises about specific things, but what I can promise is that your voice will be heard. Now, the second pillar of my platform regards increased school spirit. Now, we saw it this year with the student government. We had an awesome pep rally. We had all these great things going on, and they really boosted a sense of school spirit. Next year, I want to take that to the next level if I'm elected. I'm looking at organizing sport-specific, spirit initiatives. Say, like the hockey team is, having a home game against UCC. We want the whole student body out there cheering on the boys. Say the football team has their big game on Saturday against SAC. We want the student body there. We want people in hard hats. We want people repping the double blue. And if I am president, I promise that I will do everything in my power to boost the overall sense of school spirit. You see it at camp, but when you come home from camp, sometimes that school spirit dies away, but I want it there year round.
So you touched on some really great points there, Liam, and which leads us into our third question. What do you believe your strengths are, and how do you think they will benefit you throughout these presidential elections?
Well, since I came to St. Mike's when I was in grade 7, I've made it a personal goal of mine to get really involved in the school. Through that involvement, I've really gained a strong understanding of how St. Mike's works, how it runs, and also how students think. So I think this is going to be one of my biggest strengths. I'm very approachable, I'm very kind, and I really love when kids come up to me, and throughout the campaign this has happened, and I really appreciate it. So when kids come up to me and say, what if we, tried to do this next year on student government, or what if you focused on this if you're elected? And I think that that's one of my biggest strengths. I'm very open to hearing new ideas. I'm very approachable. You can come find me at locker number 1023 to discuss any ideas that you guys have next year on student government. And the one thing I do promise is that I will do my best to get those voices heard so that your voice is heard next year on student government, so that you have a say in all the phenomenal work that the student government is doing. And I think that's one of my biggest strengths.
Well, a few questions back, you touched upon the spread the net challenge, and we saw this year that that was a tremendous success. Shout outs to this year's student government. Now, how do you plan to build on this success this year if you were to be elected as the 2012-2013 student government president?
Next year, I want to take that to the next level as well. I think what Spread the Net showed is that the school can really come together to achieve a goal. And so next year, whether it be if we pursue Spread the Net again or through some other charitable initiative, I just want to take that to the next level by, raising more money, by raising more awareness. And I think, the Spread the Net challenge really showed how successful we can be as a school community when we come together to achieve a goal. So next year, we're going to do it again.
So our fifth and last question that Liam knew ahead of time was, do you think a good leader should be feared or liked? And the second part to that is, what do you think will make you approachable if any student had any sort of issue or concern with student government?
Well, Kevin, my answer to that question is neither. I don't think a good leader should be feared, and this may be the obvious answer. And, if I am elected, I don't think, this will be an issue. I'm not exactly a physically intimidating force. But the other half of that is, being a good leader is about doing what's right. And it was the motto on the outdoor education leadership shirts last year. Stand up for what you believe in, even if it means standing alone. Now, as student government president, and this is, essentially the main pillar of my platform, is that I want to take as many people's views into account next year. But part of being a good leader is doing what's right. And sometimes this doesn't mean you're liked. However, I'm very approachable, and this answers the second half of your question. I'm very approachable, I'm very kind, and I'm very open to hearing new ideas and what different students think. I've been walking around the halls and asking people, what they want to see happen in the student government next year. Some people want to see improved weight room equipment. I can do my best to make that happen. I can't promise that I'll make it happen, but I can do my best. Some people have said that they want more spirit events. They want, more fans out at the sporting games, a greater understanding of all the great things going on in the school. I can promise that I will do my best to make that happen. But then again, a good leader isn't always liked. A good leader does what's right.
You shocked me on your answer there, but I definitely have to agree with that one. Now, we had prepared one question that Liam did not know ahead of time, and I'm going to ask you it right now. So every year we hear, you sort of touched upon it, that some candidate always promises, the more things and whatnot, and you sort of already answered it, and you said, I can't promise anything. But what can you do for the boys of St. Mike's that will make them vote for you?
There's one thing that I can promise, Kevin, and that's that if you vote Liam Mather for student government president, you are getting the best representation of the student body that's out there. In my past 5 years at St. Mike's, I've grown to absolutely love this school, love this community, and I've gotten really involved. You can check my track record, and this proves this. The one reason you should vote for me, I touched on it in my campaign posters, is that I want to get your voice heard next year. And I'm not just running for president, I'm running for you.
On that note, I'm going to thank Liam for coming in and speaking to us today, and hopefully everybody learned a little bit more about you and your campaign.
It's been a pleasure.